Hello, everyone. This is Meg, and I'm here with my first voiceover. So this painting is my first speed paint that I've done in a while, and I would actually consider it a failure. It started badly. I was lost the whole way making it, and by the end, I think I cobbled together something that looks nice, and that's really all that it is. It looks nice, and there's no story, there's no emotion, there's really nothing that makes you continue to think about it after you stop looking at it. And to me, that is a big flaw in a painting. I think when you see a piece of artwork, it should be something that, yes, it's pretty, and yes, you enjoyed looking at it, but do you think about it later? Do you wonder what's happening? Does maybe something about the picture stick with you? And for me, this painting doesn't have any of that. And so the question is, why doesn't it have those things? And I can tell you, the first thing is that I didn't go into this painting with a clear idea of what I wanted. You'll see that in this video. You can see me, I'm constantly resizing things, moving things. I'm using the liquify tool, which I don't have anything against, but if I'm using the liquify tool more than once or twice in a painting, to me that's a sign that I had a bad foundation, and a bad foundation usually leads to a bad result. So what I wanted here was I wanted something compelling. I wanted you to look at this character and think, who is she, and why does she look this way? I wanted her to captivate you in some way, but here, that just never quite happened. So, I didn't put there was no thumbnails for this painting. There were no, I didn't pick any colors for it. I didn't even have an idea of what I wanted. At this point, you can see that I started putting in cool highlights. And then later I'm going to start putting in warm shadows, and that's probably the saving grace of this painting, is that it has a really interesting color design, or at the very least it's an unusual one with the cool highlights and the warm shadows. But was that enough to save the painting? I would say no. But however, I'm going to reattempt this painting later, and I am going to keep those colors. I think they are nice. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zoom out. I feel like being so close in on her face was a mistake. I think we need to zoom out, we need to see a pose, and we need to see a little bit of a story. So this art style I've been doing recently, I like it quite a bit. It's very messy, it's very rough, not everyone likes that, but I think what makes it nice is that, while the edges are really rough, it has a lot of movement and personality. It conveys a lot, and so it doesn't really need that fine-tuning. It doesn't really need that detail work. But what happens if you strip that movement and that personality away? Well, you end up with this, which is just sloppy. So when I do this again, I'm going to zoom out, and we're gonna have her in a pose, maybe crouching, or something dynamic with some movement, something that says what she is doing. We're gonna include a body, which is gonna give us some story, like who is she eating? Is she a monster? Is she justified? Is she both? And we're gonna include a little bit of background, probably not a lot because I don't want to, and that's really all there is to say on the matter. But I want it to be something that haunts you for a little bit, even if just for a few moments. Even if you forget about it by tomorrow, if it sticks with you for just a little bit, then I feel like I've done my job with this art piece. At this point in the painting, you can actually see it's pulled together pretty good, and I think at this point that it is visually appealing. In fact, in retrospect, maybe it would have been better to keep her eyes open. Whatever, I will explore that later on. That piercing gaze, or the eyes closed in the ecstasy of what she's very sloppily eating. In fact, yeah, that the only idea I had going into this painting was that I knew I wanted her hand to be mushing her mouth so I could make some interesting shapes. And I knew I wanted it to be sloppy. I knew I wanted her to have blood on her mouth. Like maybe she's wiping the blood on her mouth, or maybe she's licking her fingers. Just something like that. Like she is beautiful, she's very pristine looking, and then she's just disgustingly eating this blood or viscera or whatever it winds up being in the final piece. Anyway, I'll just wrap this up by saying that my advice to you, and something that I hope that you learn from this, is that you should have a plan when you go into your painting. Know what you want, plan it out. Don't be afraid to redraw it again and again. You will be happy with the end result in a way that you wouldn't be if you just ran with it. Alright, well, I'm gonna go have a coffee. I'm gonna let this painting sit for a little while, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm going to redraw it, and I will record that process as well with my thoughts. So you can see that coming up soon. Alright guys, I'll see you later.